Alex is right. I've done marketing my whole career. I spent a bunch of years at McKinsey teaching companies how to do personalization really well. I traveled all through Africa teaching them how to do that. I worked for Expedia, running their personalization and email globally on their loyalty programs. I'm now at a company called A Place for Mom. And what I've discovered over the years doing marketing is that it's a lot easier than people make it out to be. People make marketing way more complicated. People have incentives to make it more complicated. Consultants want it to seem really complicated. Employees want it to seem more complicated so they can get hired for the jobs because they spent their years learning how to do this stuff. People make marketing way more complicated than it's supposed to be. I find almost all marketing is either easy or BS. And so, or what I call it, obvious or erroneous is what most of marketing is. I talk about it on my blog about what the easy parts of marketing are. I taught a course at UW, University of Washington, not Western, about how to do marketing well. I'm going to take one of my classes was on personalization, and there is some value to personalization, but most of what you've heard about for value and personalization is all BS. And that's what I want to take you through today. So first of all, what is the company you think of first when you think of personalization? Anybody? Amazon, right? Amazon, come on, there you go, right? So I looked up Lonely Planet Toronto. Look at all these great books that are also recommended for Lonely Planet Toronto. It's super personalized for Lonely Planet Toronto. Amazon goes further though, right? They look at all your purchase history. So now you guys know what my purchase history is. Apparently I like to read comic books, Iceland, something about invading. Looks at your purchase histories, tries to figure out what books you're going to like next, all sorts of fancy personalization. These guys are the best in the world at this, and yet when you buy a computer on Amazon, what's the thing they recommend you buy next? Another computer. Right? This is the extent of the best personalization engine on the planet thinks you need a lot of computers. And they're wrong. They're wrong. And the reason why they're wrong is personalization is really, really, really hard. Amazon's personalization does tons of value. Your personalization for your startup is not going to add any value at all. Let me keep going. So this is interest in marketing personalization over time. Something happened in 2012 that started people searching for marketing personalization on Google, and this year it's gone nuts. Everybody thinks marketing personalization is great. I see it all the time. People come to me, want to sell me marketing personalization services. If I go and search for marketing personalization on Google, IBM wants to sell me how to increase the value of each customer interaction. Oracle wants to tell me how to give customers royal treatment, personalized treatment. Email marketing companies want to tell me which type of ice cream people like, and so I can target them based on whether they like strawberry or chocolate. Right? Everybody thinks you can add tons and tons and tons of value with personalization. What happened in 2012 that started this trend off? Does anyone know? What's that? Oh, big data came. Don't even get me started on big data. With these guys. Anyone read this story in Fortune magazine? All right? Magic. It was magic. They found a way that they would, so those of you that don't know the story goes something like this. A man found a bunch of advertisements targeting his daughter as a new pregnant mother. And his daughter was like 16 years old, so he freaked out on Target. Target apologized until 3 months later, he went back to Target to apologize himself because his daughter was pregnant. Their algorithm was smarter than the daughter was. They knew she was pregnant before she knew. Right? That's how good these algorithms are these days. It was in Fortune magazine. It was picked up by Business Insider and Slate.com and Fox News, even Time magazine, and even the United Kingdom. They don't even know what Target is, but they were excited about it. Right? Target tried to go into Canada, they failed, and yet their story is still getting to the United Kingdom. Right? Like everybody thinks this is a great story. I've heard this story quoted back to me 1,000,000 times, and the story is pure BS. And it's not because I know anything secret, it's because I know math. So let's talk about the math of pregnancy. Okay, let's say that let's say they have an algorithm that can predict pregnancy with 90% accuracy. 90%, if anyone's ever tried to build an algorithm to predict anything, 90% accuracy is awesome, especially when it's based on whether you buy coffee or cigarettes. Right? Like this is going to tell you, based on your shopping at Target, if you're pregnant or not. They've come up with an algorithm that's 90% accurate. It's awesome. Let's look at the overall population. Let's say out of the people you're targeting, there's 100 million women, 5 million of them are pregnant. About 5%, give or take, of the women that you're going to target are pregnant. So your test is 90% accurate. So there's 5 million women who aren't pregnant. Your test says 4.5 are pregnant, and it gets it wrong 10% of the time, right? 500,000. Same thing happens for not pregnant, right? 90% of the time you get it right. 90 million people, 10% of the time you get it wrong, and you say they're pregnant when they're not. What happens next? Well, you actually have the test result. You don't know the reality. All you have is the test results. How accurate is your test? When the test says you're not pregnant, it gets it wrong 500,000 times, gets it right 90 million times. It's right 99.5% of the time. That's pretty friggin' awesome. When the test says the person's not pregnant, they're almost for sure not pregnant. But wait. What happens on the other side? Do the math fast. When the test says you're pregnant, you're only 31% chance of being pregnant. On a 90% accurate test, you're only right 31% of the time. That's the problem with these tests. These tests work great if you are going for, if you're trying to rule people out. But if you're trying to rule people in, which is what everybody tries to do with personalization, no one says, I'm looking for something that'll target people who are not traveling to Iceland next year. Right? You could absolutely make an algorithm that'll do that. If you want to get the people that are traveling to Iceland, though, you're in the pregnant box, and you're going to get it wrong 70% of the time. If your test is 90% accurate. If your test is really 40% accurate or 50% accurate, which is what most tests are, it's nowhere near this good. So if you want to know how to do it right, go to my blog, because I'm running out of time. Marketing is easy. I'll talk to a little bit more about how to do it right. I'm done. Questions. So maybe you can ask me how to do it right. I have like a question time. Questions? So the fast answer is most email is terrible. And so trying to personalize your email by doing 100 awesome emails or 1,000 awesome emails is a step beyond trying to do one awesome email. Doing one awesome email is really freaking hard. So do one awesome email. After you have one awesome email and you want to personalize it, try doing 2 awesome emails. But that's a big step. In fact, if you can do 2 awesome emails, maybe do 2 awesome emails a week to everybody before you start breaking it up into small segments. So that's the first part of it. If you're Target and you want to target things, first of all is you build a flyer that's going to target everybody. And you make that flyer as good as you possibly can. And turns out that flyer sometimes has diapers on it. Then you can use one of these awesome algorithms that you've built. Come on, awesome algorithm. And instead of making the flyer to target pregnant women, make the flyer to target non-pregnant women and just take the diapers off that ad and put on Campbell's soup or something else. Right? So you can make personalization stuff to make things marginally better by taking off groups that you think aren't going to get value from your personalization. But trying to go into super micro-targeting is almost always a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. The biggest lie they keep buying. Biggest lie in marketing they keep, other than personalization and big data. Billboards. Billboards are pretty terrible. People don't buy enough television. Television is better than they think. That's a good question. I'll have a better answer for that maybe by the time I'm done here. I think part of it it's that here's what it is. It's that you can't measure the value of marketing, so just let me spend my budget. That's the biggest lie in marketing. I go to tech events and I talk to these people in marketing, and they're like, "Oh, how do I avoid getting my marketing budget cut?" I'm like, "Well, if you're doing it right, they should be throwing more money at you, not taking away. Marketing should be used to drive revenue. If you're using marketing as a cost center instead of a revenue driver, that's where your biggest problem is in marketing." Question? Oh, yeah. What's your product? So I would say your most effective marketing is having an awesome product. It's the first step. A beer? It's a good question. So how to market a beer? So to me, there's 2 types of products. I call them Tylenol and vitamins. And so every product is either Tylenol or a vitamin or a variation on Tylenol and vitamins. So a Tylenol product is, I have a headache, I want a solution to this problem, and I'm going to look and find a solution to this problem. And I'll search, and so it turns out Google search is awesome for that. If I go into Google and say, like, I have a headache, help me solve this problem, I can be a Tylenol or a Tylenol type product and jump in front and be like, I have a solution, sell me the product. Right? That's why search works really, really well. Other products are vitamin. And so no one's going on Google saying, I need a beer. How do I get a beer? Right? Like, it's not a Tylenol product. Vitamin products, some people are, it is apparently. Vitamin products, people don't know they need them until someone tells them that they need them, and they have to keep reminding them that they need them. And the solution, the thing is, hey, you don't know you need this, but just trust me, take a lot of them, and keep buying my product. A lot of products turns out it's really hard to get a vitamin product going. The advantage of vitamin products, though, is you can sell them to people who don't have headaches. Right? If you have a headache, you really want Tylenol. If you don't have a headache, you have no desire for Tylenol at all. Whereas a vitamin, you can sell it to everybody within a demographic who's like a vitamin-type person who cares about their health. And so television, for example, is a fantastic vehicle for vitamin if you can get over the barriers to entry to get into it. But even display, like look at this, two online solutions, right? Facebook and Google. If you have a vitamin product, you should be all over search. So I have a Tylenol product, all over search. If you have a vitamin product, you should be all over Facebook. Facebook has really great demographic targeting, but if your product is Tylenol, trying to advertise on Facebook is a terrible, terrible idea, and usually vice versa. And if you're really good, you take your product and find a way to make your product both a vitamin and a Tylenol so you can advertise on both.